Hi everybody, welcome to the Baker Airguns Quick Look. I am Donnie Reed, and today we got something special for you. The FX Wildcat is unquestionably one of the most popular bullpup air rifles of all time, and for good reason. Its ergonomics are second to none. It is both powerful and extremely accurate. Now, the gun has received several upgrades during its lifetime. There was both a Mark I and Mark II version. Some had the smooth twist barrel, some have the smooth twist X. There was the introduction of the amp regulator, different versions, and so forth. Now, it was always a good air gun, but it did get better over time. In keeping with that tradition, FX has again improved the Wildcat, and I give you the FX Wildcat Mark III. Now, in the description of this video down below, you'll find some links in there, one of which is going to be to the written report on this gun. I'd suggest taking that in as well for the full story here. So what's new? What did FX change? What did FX improve with the Wildcat Mark III? Glad you asked, because it's quite a bit. To start with, the FX Wildcat Mark III now uses the same side shot magazine as the FX Crown and the FX Dreamline. That's right, FX has done away with the relatively low capacity round metal magazines that it used to use, and there was nothing wrong with those magazines, but who doesn't like more shots, you know? More time shooting, less time loading. You can't lose. The Wildcat Mark III is also more adjustable than its earlier brethren. This gun has a hammer spring adjuster on the breech of the gun, and you have 7 preset positions. There's also an 8th which says adjust, and there's a small hole under that, and that hole is so that you can gain access to the internal adjuster via a 1.5 millimeter Allen wrench. Now, there is a difference between this screw adjuster and the screw adjuster found on other FX models, and I found this out the hard way. You actually turn this one counterclockwise to increase the hammer spring tension. Live and learn. The gun does retain the externally adjustable amp regulator, but there has been the addition of a regulator pressure gauge. Can't go wrong there. There has also been updates to the valve system, and there is a larger plenum space in the gun, so you have more available charge per shot. So what does that mean? That means you can get more power out of this gun compared to its predecessor, as well as greater efficiency. Now, as you can see in this chart, I used the 18.13 grain JSBs. This is the 22 caliber version that I'm using for the review. I tuned that gun to shoot about 885 feet per second average, and I got 42 shots at that tune with a 10 foot per second extreme spread, 2 feet per second standard deviation. That is exceptional. And these were unsorted right out of the tin pellets. That is exceptional performance, unquestionably. This gun also fills to 250 bar rather than 230 bar like the earlier versions of the Wildcat. Naturally, if you tune the gun down, you're going to get more shots than that. And if you use a fire-breathing tune, you're going to get less shots than that. And about that fire-breathing thing, I also tuned this gun to run the 22 grain FX hybrid slugs. This gun easily was capable of 900 plus feet per second with the 22 grain slugs and 40 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. That is a ton for a very compact bullpup style air gun. And now, especially when you factor in the fact that this compact version has the 500 millimeter barrel, that is some power. But about that 500 millimeter barrel, there is both a compact version, which you see here, as well as a sniper version of the Wildcat MkIII. The sniper version has both a longer barrel, 700 millimeter barrel, and a longer air tube. This gun has a 230 cc air reservoir. The sniper has a 300 cc reservoir. The barrels in these guns are the new superior smooth twist X barrels. Now, are these liners superior? We'll get to that in just a bit. Now, another new feature for both versions of this gun is a standard Picatinny style rail to mount your optics. Most other things stay the same. You still have the wonderfully ergonomic FX Wildcat stock, the two-stage fully adjustable trigger, which for a bullpup trigger is probably the best on the market. You also keep the standard side lever with a moved forward position to make cocking a breeze. And you still get the accuracy you've come to expect from an FX Wildcat. Maybe even better. Now, unfortunately, due to circumstances beyond my control, I had but one day, today, to record the outdoor shooting for this gun. I just went straight to 50 yards and I used two different tunes and two different projectiles. I used both the 22 grain FX hybrid slug and the JSB Exact Heavy 18.13 grain pellets. Now, when I say unfortunately, what I mean by that is I had to suffer through Ohio weather. It was cold, it was raining, and it was windy. But the show must go on, right, my friends? So, just to give you a number to put on the wind, and I understand wind is variable, and in Ohio it's very variable, but the weatherman during the hour, roughly hour, 2 hours that I used shooting this gun outdoors today, the weather report said that the wind was a steady 15 mile an hour with 29 mile per hour gusts. Now, did I experience that much? Probably so. But I very specifically timed my shots for when I felt like the wind was at least similarly low. Now, granted, I am sure this gun would do better than it did today in more reasonable wind and environmental conditions. Having said all that, I somehow got precisely the same size group using the hybrid slugs and the JSBs at 50 yards. And that size was 0.472 inches. I got sub-MOA groups in ridiculous wind conditions, and it wasn't even that difficult. Now, I did shoot up the target. I used a lot of sighters trying to figure out the wind. I used two different tunes. I had to retune the gun during this accuracy testing. And despite that, changing the dope on the scope constantly, I still got sub-MOA groups with either projectile. Is that a superior barrel? Probably so. Probably so. Now here's a little montage of that accuracy testing, and take it with a grain of salt. The environmental conditions were not favorable, but have a look. I'd say all things considered, that's not bad. So, does the Wildcat Mark III live up to the lineage it is born from? Unquestionably. Now, was this gun changed or was it improved? I would have to say the latter. You get more mag capacity, more power, more adjustability, and you lose nothing that you already love about the Wildcat. Awesome trigger, awesome stock. The ergonomics are fantastic. That side lever, that's how you do a bullpup side lever. You still have the Smooth Twist X barrel system. You can still swap out liners. You can change calibers. You can't lose. And you didn't. You didn't lose anything you love. You have only gained more with the Wildcat Mark III. And if you get one, I'm sure you'll still get that warm, fuzzy feeling in your belly, knowing that you own one of the best bullpup air rifles available. I thank you guys for watching, and you all stay tuned, stay safe, and happy shooting.
Hi, I'm Dennis Baker with Baker Airguns. Thanks for stopping by. Click the link below.